Yes, we are back. It's been a while since we've done a pregame live chat. I got to remember how to do one of these. Got to feel not rusty, When it's been a couple of weeks, you kind of forget how to do things. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we are back. Yes, it is a pregame live chat here on the Chief Zone. I am Farzi Vasugan. Appreciate you guys joining me this morning. Hope you're all having a great morning, enjoying that boring game. What is it? The Dolphins and the Commanders. Like, is anyone... listen, I know the league does not know what's going to happen as the season goes on, but my God, man, I feel like, be honest with me here. And this is not me trying to be funny or anything, but have the primetime games just been bad this year? I feel like the primetime games, like, what's been a really epic primetime game this year? I feel like there are only a couple. One that sticks out right away is the Bills come from behind win against the Ravens. But, okay, I mean, I guess the Chiefs had a close one with the Jaguars. That was kind of fun to watch, depending on who you were rooting for. But it's not like, what great primetime games have we seen this season? There haven't really been many. They've all been boring. Now, this is not a primetime game per se, but it's a standalone game. So, yeah. So that's hey, listen, can't have great primetime standalone games every single year, but that does happen. Anyway, we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the Chiefs and the Broncos. The Chiefs are coming off a bye week. The Broncos getting ready for their bye week, coming off after this game, I should say. This is going to be really interesting here. I think there are a couple of different expectations from this one because this is a hard game to predict. I will say that. A lot of people feel like the Chiefs defense, with their inconsistencies this season, they've allowed opposing quarterbacks to look really good in some games. Meanwhile, the Broncos, their offense has just been really bad, and they've been involved in a lot of low-scoring games lately. The Chiefs, on the other hand, offensively, yeah, they've been a little up and down this season on the offensive side of the football, even with Rice and Worthy back into the fold. And they're facing a really good Broncos defense. I've said it all year long. I think the Broncos have the best defense in the NFL. A lot of you guys will argue and say, well, they have a great defensive front, but their secondary, even with Pat Surtain, not so much. Sure. I can't really push back on that. If you have a great defensive front, everything else will fall into place for your defense. And that's how I feel about the Broncos defense right now. Yeah, they're 8-2. They're tied for the best record coming into this week. They can be tied once again if they win this game because New England won on Thursday night. But I'm just looking across the board with the Broncos. I do think their offense, or excuse me, their defense, they can provide some challenges in this game. Their offense, that's the one that can be a little tricky. Yeah, Bo Nix is not having a great year. J.K. Dobbins is not going to play in this game. In fact, he's on IR. He's going to have season-ending surgery on his foot there. So he's going to miss the remainder of the season. Though I will say, I won't dismiss anything with RJ Harvey, their rookie running back from UCF. That was a player that I was actually hoping the Chiefs would target this offseason in the draft. And I don't know if he was being seriously considered by the Chiefs or what, but that's a player that I think you've got to watch out for because with his breakaway speed, he can definitely do some damage here. I think the Chiefs, let's be honest, their defensive line is not good. George Karlaftis, he's getting a lot of pressures, but with the amount of money you're paying Chris Jones and Karlaftis, you've got to start getting some sacks, and the sack production has not been there for this defensive line. So where do the Chiefs excel defensively? The blitz. That is a Spags special. The Chiefs run the nickel and dime package more than any team in the last 2.5 years. So keep doing that. if that's what it takes to get Bo Nix to the ground. Because the Chiefs need that in this game here. The Chiefs are one of the best defensive teams in the NFL in terms of not allowing so many points. And I think that is what you need in this one here. Find ways to limit Bo Nix in this game. Their offense, not necessarily like the Chiefs a couple of years ago, but the Broncos offense have had some issues with ball security, especially catching the ball. That's been an issue for them this year. So Kansas City has got to capitalize on those opportunities there. I know their play calling has been suspect, but you could say the same thing about Kansas City at times. I know that was a big complaint about the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago, or excuse me, about the Broncos a couple of weeks ago. So I just feel like this game right here, you could make a strong case for both teams. Yeah, both teams have had some inconsistencies. I think out of all the four groups, Broncos offense, Broncos defense, and then the Chiefs offense and the Chiefs defense, I think the only group that's been very consistent all year long would be the Broncos defense. I mean, that is an A+ defense, in my opinion. They've had more sacks than any team since last season. They're about to have the bye week coming up, but even though they've played an extra game compared to most teams up to this point, the gap between 1 and 2 for sacks, it's big. I don't have it in front of me, but I went over it earlier in the week. Even if you just want to compare it to teams that have played the same number of games as the Broncos, there's still a significant gap between those two teams. So in this game, it is very important that the offensive tackles for the Chiefs step up in this one. Jawan Taylor had been playing better lately up until the most recent game against the Buffalo Bills. And on the other side of it, on the left side, you have rookie Josh Simmons, who has been a phenomenal offensive lineman this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. Been the left tackle that the Chiefs have desperately been searching for so many years. Now he's been away from the team for a month. Now he reported back to the team last Monday, right before the bye week, before the team broke off and spent some time away. So he had an opportunity to kind of ramp up to get ready for this game. How is Josh Simmons going to look after missing 5 weeks, 4 games, and being away from the team for that long? How is he going to look? And not just that, you have to be mindful that he's going to go up against Benito and Cooper in this one. At times, might go up against Allen, depending on what kind of defensive front the Broncos have personnel-wise. This is going to be a very interesting game for Josh Simmons. He's done a really good job his rookie season, got off to a little bit of a slow start, and that's okay. You know, I think every rookie goes through that learning curve in the beginning, but he picked it up real quickly. And I think if you're the Chiefs, you're looking at Josh Simmons right now, and you're going to realize this is going to be his biggest test as a rookie, in my opinion. So those are my thoughts going into this game here. I feel pretty good about Kansas City's chances. Listen, I think the Chiefs, I'll say this. The Chiefs offense and defense and the Broncos offense and defense, I think they're all going to do some good things in this game. And I think there are also going to be times in this game where you're going to look at all of those phases, all those facets for both sides and say, oh man, they could have been better in that situation there. Whoever wins this game and whoever loses this game, I think they're both going to look back and they're going to have plenty to learn from this game here. I do think it's going to be a close game. I did say it this morning, and I'll say it again on here. 27-24, Kansas City. That is my prediction for this one. If you guys have any thoughts, you guys have any questions, drop them below, and I'll get to you guys shortly. Yeah, it's only 6-6. Washington did get a touchdown moments ago here, but yeah, this is a bad game. Did they go for 2? Or what were they replaying there? Or did they get the ball back? I don't know. I've been talking to you guys, so I don't know. Oh, I thought Dan Quinn was shoving one of his players. No, he's celebrating. Who do I have winning Monday night? Cowboys or Raiders? I'm sure it'll be a snooze fest. I mean, I know the Raiders just played a really good game defensively. That's not happening against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a great offense, but a really bad defense. That might be close for like a quarter, maybe a half, but I think the Cowboys are going to run away with that one. This game's going to be a defensive battle. Yeah, that's what some people are thinking. So here's something really interesting with the betting lines this week for Kansas City. A lot of times, and obviously it'll depend on news that comes during the week with injuries and whatnot. I think it was basically expected that J.K. Dobbins and Pat Surtain II were not going to play in this game. Do we agree with that? Is anyone protesting what I just said there? No one expected realistically those two guys to play in this game. Now, J.K. Dobbins was placed on IR, and Pat Surtain on Friday was officially ruled out. Here's my point with that. The Chiefs opened as 3-point betting favorites on DraftKings. Then that line moved to 3.5, and it was at 3.5 for most of the week. And I opened up DraftKings this morning. The Chiefs are 4.5-point betting favorites. So they've basically received 1.5 in their favor since the Broncos played the Raiders on last Thursday night, not this past Thursday, the Thursday before. Robert says, this game to me 100% must win. Too many teams in the playoff picture right now that has a tiebreaker against us. That is very true. Yeah, you have the Jaguars, you have the Chargers, you have the Bills. All three wildcard teams right now in the AFC have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. You're right. And unfortunately, the Chiefs have found themselves in a weird spot where the last 2 weeks they were pulling for the Raiders. And today, I guess for the sake of just getting into the playoff picture, you kind of want the Chargers to win. That's because the Chargers are playing the Jaguars. Now, if the Jaguars win and the Chiefs win, that's good for the Chiefs, and it does help their standing in the AFC West a little bit, but they would still be looking outside in the playoff picture. Now, keep in mind, it's November the 16th today. I know people love to talk about how if the season ended today, which it doesn't end for a month and a half, almost 2 months, the Chiefs would be out of the playoff picture. Well, when was the last time an NFL season ever ended in mid-November? It's been a really long time since that happened. I don't think our grandparents were even alive when that happened. So I think people need to relax a little bit with the whole, if the season ended today, the Chiefs are out. Yeah, I know. That is everyone's Super Bowl right now. The fact that the Chiefs are looking out of the playoff picture. I remember that was the case 4 years ago in 2021. A lot of people thought the Chiefs were not going to overcome that, and what do you know? They won the AFC West that year. HN's looking really good. Wish he was a Chief. I wish it was Breece Hall. I really wish Brett Veach gave up that third man. Listen, I'm a big fan of Brett Veach. You guys know me. I do think he's made some questionable decisions this year. Cutting Mike Pennell in the preseason. Thankfully, he's back on the team now. I think that will make a difference for the defensive line. Trading for Derek Nottie. I don't know whose bright idea that was, but that's a really terrible idea. Letting Josh Uche go, not a good idea. I don't even know why did you trade for him last year? And then what was the other one? Breece Hall, not willing to give up a third to get him. I think you should have done that one. Hopefully Simmons isn't rusty even, so I expect him to jump back in and adapt pretty quickly. Yeah, I think so. Look, this is the offensive tackle that you have been wanting for a long time. I mean, the Chiefs have had bad left tackle play for a very, very long time. You really think Denver can score that many points? They haven't in the last few weeks. You're right about that, Lori. I just feel like the Chiefs have some inconsistencies on that defense. It really depends on which Chiefs defense shows up. Hey, listen, if you are a blind Broncos homer, you're looking at Kansas City saying, well, yeah, our offense might be inconsistent, but Kansas City's defense is also inconsistent too. And you would say the same thing, the opposite direction, if you're a blind Chiefs homer. I think if you're looking at who gets the edge, you've got to give it to Kansas City. "1920s, there you go. Yeah, to my point. Depending how old you are, but yeah, our grandparents weren't even alive back then. I think mine were just barely born at the time. What is going on with Saunders? I assume you mean Cullen Saunders. He cleared waivers. Nobody wants him at the moment. I know Chris Jones is campaigning for a reunion on that defensive line. He's been doing that for years with Frank Clark, recently with Pennell, and now is trying to do that with Saunders. I don't know, man. Listen, I've always been in the camp that if someone's available this late in the season, there's probably reasons for that. And I don't mean that as a shot or just to be negative, But let's be completely honest. Like, look at Justin Simmons. He's a great safety. And I remember a lot of Chiefs fans were hoping Simmons would kind of, switch allegiances and join the dark side. But he hasn't. Not only that, I don't think he signed with any team, has he? So there's a reason for that sometimes. That's just something to be aware of. Thanks for accepting my friend request on Facebook. You're welcome. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on lately, but over the years, I've had people send me friend requests on my personal account. Recently, it's been like hundreds of friend requests on my personal Facebook account. Listen, you guys are more than welcome to add me on Facebook. I'm just warning you right now, I don't ever post on there. I might just share something from my public page, the one that some of you guys are watching on right now. I might share something really cool from there, but I almost never ever post a damn thing on my personal account. So you're more than welcome to add me and go through my old pictures. It's a little weird. I'm sure you guys have better things to do than that. But if you guys want, I'm sure you're more than welcome to add me on Facebook. Let's see. Let me see if Instagram's got any questions. Oh, by the way, speaking of Instagram, we do have the Duran Cherry signed football giveaway on there. So if you want a signed football from a Chiefs Hall of Famer, that is now available on Instagram. That giveaway is up right now. And on X, we have a completely separate giveaway. I'm giving away a really cool Taylor Swift Rookie of the Year t-shirt. Hold on. Let me grab that for you guys real quickly here. Give me like 10 seconds. Okay, actually, I lied. I know where the Taylor Swift Rookie of the Year shirt is. It's not on me right now. It's actually already packaged. It is ready to be sent. But we do have another Taylor Swift. So I got a question for you guys. Yeah, I am streaming on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube is probably the easier one to watch through. But neither here nor there. So let me bear with me for one moment here. Let me see if I can pull this up because I don't have it on me right now. And a lot of people are already retweeting it on X, which is great. Let me put that there. Okay. So that right there, that is what we are giving away. That t-shirt. Hopefully you guys can see it. Nope, you guys cannot see it because I need to remove that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's the t-shirt we're giving away. It says Rookie of the Year. We gave a couple of Taylor Swift shirts away already. So if you guys are interested in that, that is up on X right now. We have a signed football from Chiefs Hall of Famer Duran Cherry. We are giving that away on Instagram. And then I've got a really cool t-shirt right here that we're giving away. This one right here. Come on. Is this not cool? Is this not cool? Only not cool people would not want this shirt. So that will be given away at a future giveaway. Just a heads up there. And if there are a lot of people that are going crazy for these shirts, we'll find a way to get more of them. You guys know me. I'm a man of my word. So those are some things to look forward to if you're wanting some giveaways. I don't know. Oh, there we go. The Instagram video was being a little weird, but we got that fixed now. So StreamYard has this like really weird little setup where you can decide if you want it to be portrait or landscape for different social media sites. Instagram does not give you the option. It's automatically going to be portrait. I don't know. For these videos, I like landscape, but to each their own, I suppose. All right. I'll answer a couple more questions before I get out of here. So that way I can let you guys go watch this boring game between the Commanders and the Dolphins. Which wide receiver do I think will get involved the most? Definitely Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice for sure is going to be the wide receiver that Mahomes will target the most. Listen, I keep can Canadians get in on the contest? I know on the X giveaway, yes. Let me check the Instagram giveaway. Actually, Instagram's not letting me because of the live stream. But to answer the wide receiver question, I said I mentioned Rice. Here's the thing that kind of confuses me. And I do apologize for the signed football giveaway. That is only for the contiguous US only. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this before on the podcast before. No PO boxes or APOs because we've had issues with that in the past. I think maybe I let that go on for a little longer than it should have, but as of a few months ago, we changed that rule here. By the way, I have a really big complaint here. If you're going to enter a giveaway and you are selected as the winner, check your DMs because I'm only going to DM you twice, and I'll be patient. But if a month goes by and you do not answer for the giveaway that you won, I ain't going to keep messaging you. I've got a million things going on. I am going to redo the giveaway and give someone else a chance. So that is everyone's one and only fair warning right now. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. Tyquan Thornton has not been getting a lot of targets or snaps. In that game against the Bills, he only got targeted once, and that was the second to last play of the game, which he almost caught in the end zone because the Chiefs basically ran 2 Hail Marys. So it kind of irritates me that you have such a talented player who's got a very high yard per catch average, and the Chiefs are not utilizing him. And I know he's been doing more special teams, but it's not like, he's taking a kick return back every single play. You can do special teams and offense. A lot of players have done it. But the Chiefs are being a little weird about that. And I don't want to hear any of this whole, the Chiefs are holding back. No, the Chiefs should not be holding back. They need to utilize the offense to its full potential. Do we need to take advantage of the underneath with Singleton out? Maybe a very Kelsey Rice game. See, the way you phrase that question, it sounds like they should run the ball. They won't. Rex Ryan even said that a couple of weeks ago because the Chiefs just faced 2 weeks ago, I should say. It wasn't just last week, but their most recent game, they faced a defense that was second worst against the run. And there was no Ed Oliver. And guess what the Chiefs did? They went pass heavy. They barely used Kareem Hunt, who was averaging almost 7 yards a carry at one point before the end of the first half. Like, how do you let that happen? I don't know. Listen, Andy Reid's a great coach, but some decisions he makes, they're head scratchers for sure. But with no Singleton in this one and forcing the Broncos to kind of change things up, they don't have a great secondary, especially with Surtain out. Yeah, this is an opportunity to get Rice going with those short passes, something he excels in. Thornton needs to take Worthy's routes. A lot of people have been saying that about Hollywood Brown. Listen, I like Hollywood Brown, especially with what he and Juju did early on in the season without Worthy and Rice. And obviously Thornton was a part of that early on in the season. I just think there's a way to get everyone involved. I'm not saying, every single player should have, 5 to 7 catches for 80 to 100 yards. That is realistically impossible. And if that happens, you're never losing a football game ever, ever, ever if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think there are ways to get Tyquan Thornton more involved, Juju more involved. Listen, I've said this before. If Rashee Rice has a big game today, next week against the Colts, there's a possibility that, and it might not be next week, it could be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He might have a very quiet game and someone else might have a really big game. I think this offense has that capability. We saw that in the past with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. Not all three of them would dominate every single game. I think there was one game statistically where all three of those guys, Hill, Watkins, and Kelce, had great numbers. But there were times where Kelce would thrive and have a huge game, and Tyreek Hill would be quiet statistically, and then it would be the complete opposite the next game. I was hoping for more of that, but we haven't necessarily seen that so far. I'm hoping now that it's been a couple of games for Rashee Rice, Worthy, he's been playing for a few games now, and you're coming off a bye. I'm really hoping this is where the offense starts to roll. That's what I'm hoping for. How do you enter the giveaway on X? Go to my X account. It is at Farzine21, and it should be the pinned post. If not, let me check on that right now. That way you don't have to dig through my social media. Yeah, it is the pinned post on my X account. So there you have it. The Broncos have a great defense. They won't give up 20 points. Yeah, but I think on the flip side, if the Chiefs play their game, they can surpass that number, I think. Thornton is a great asset. You should utilize him more. I agree. Okay. I think that is all for the questions for this morning. Ken on Instagram, this will be the last one. Chiefs need to let Elijah Mitchell play today. I don't care how he looks or plays. He's the highest paid back. That's a good point. I did not realize he was the highest paid back. I'm just going to double check that to make sure. I mean, that sounds correct. Yeah, he's getting $2.5 million. Kareem Hunt's getting $1.5 million. I don't know what Pacheco's getting, but for a 7th round draft pick, who's on a rookie deal, Pacheco should not be making that much. Pacheco's on a $1.1 million cap hit for this year. Yeah, that is a really good point. I had no idea about that with Mitchell. He's your highest paid running back, and he hasn't played a game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has played a game even. That is interesting. Look, I trust that there's a reason why Andy Reid's not using Elijah Mitchell. What that reason is, we obviously don't know. And that's a weird one. That is a weird one. Same thing with Christian Fulton. You've barely seen him get used this year. That is... Spags kind of gave that very weird non-committal answer where he was just like, yeah, be ready. We told him to be ready. Well, sure, every player needs to be ready, but I don't know, man. I trust the Chiefs coaching staff at the end of the day. Surely they've got a reason and a plan for this. Otherwise, I do agree. It's pretty confusing to watch, to say the least. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the pregame live chat. Join me at halftime. We will recap the first half between the Chiefs and the Broncos, hopefully recapping some good things, and we'll preview the second half a little bit. And then tonight, after the game, it will be the Chiefs Zone Podcast Live. We will take your calls. I'll have the link for you guys to click on. All you have to do is click on the link, turn on your audio, your video, put in your name, and you guys can call into the show afterwards. One other important note. I am going to be very busy this week. In fact, I'll be traveling. So Monday, we'll do our normal Monday podcast. Tuesday will be our preview podcast between the Chiefs and the Colts. Be aware of that because the next two preview shows, so for the Colts, the following week, that'll be on a Tuesday, and then the Chiefs Cowboys, because that's also on a Tuesday. That's a Thursday game, I should say. The preview podcast for those two games will both be on a Tuesday. So there will not be a Wednesday podcast for the next 2 weeks. That will be on Tuesday for the upcoming 2 weeks. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's mind blowing. Whereas Royalsman, he's been playing, he's been getting snaps, but he has not been targeted once this year. So there's your answer, Isaac. Okay, guys, I'm Farzine Vasugian. I am out. Appreciate you guys joining me. I will talk to you at halftime. Take care.